In an age defined by power, by alliances and rivalries, by weapons capable of reshaping civilization, humanity lives under a quiet shadow. A shadow cast by the possibility of another global war. The world has seen it before. Two conflicts in the 20th century transformed continents, reshaped borders, and changed the destiny of billions. The first, the cataclysm known as the World War I. The second, the global inferno of World War II. But today, the stakes are even higher. Nuclear arsenals stand ready across the globe. Missiles travel thousands of miles in minutes. Entire cities could vanish before dawn. If such a conflict were to erupt again, one haunting question echoes across the planet. Where could humanity survive? Where might civilization endure when the world burns? Tonight, we journey across the globe searching for the answer. Through mountains and oceans, through remote islands and hidden valleys, through nations untouched by great powers and distant from global battlefields. Among them all, one place stands apart, a land at the edge of the earth, a country protected not by armies, but by distance itself. A place many believe could remain one of the safest havens on Earth in a global conflict. That place is New Zealand. For centuries, humanity has lived in a delicate balance of power. From the rise of superpowers to the tension of modern geopolitics, the world remains interconnected and vulnerable. Nuclear weapons first appeared during the Manhattan Project, forever changing the nature of war. And their devastating power was revealed in the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Since then, nations have lived under the doctrine of deterrence. Mutually assured destruction. The idea that if war begins, everyone loses. Yet tensions remain. Powerful nations compete for influence. Global alliances shift. And military technology grows more advanced each year. But if conflict erupts between the great powers, most of the world will be caught in the crossfire. Except, perhaps, the most isolated corners of Earth. Geography has always shaped human destiny. Mountain ranges protect civilizations. Oceans create natural barriers. And distance can mean survival. Few places on Earth are as geographically isolated as New Zealand. Located deep in the South Pacific, more than 1,000 miles from its nearest major neighbor, this island nation sits far from the political centers of global power. To the west lies Australia. Beyond that, thousands of miles of open ocean. To the north, scattered islands of the Pacific. To the south, the frozen wilderness of Antarctica. This distance has shaped the country's history and may one day protect its future. Long before humans arrived, New Zealand evolved in isolation. Separated from other continents for millions of years, the islands developed ecosystems found nowhere else on Earth. Towering mountains form the backbone of the land. The dramatic southern Alps rise like a natural fortress across the South Island. Glaciers carve through ancient valleys. Volcanoes shape the northern landscape. And vast forests cover the hillsides. This rugged geography not only creates breathtaking scenery, it also provides natural resources essential for survival: fresh water, fertile soil, and abundant wildlife. The first humans to reach these islands were the ancestors of the Maori. Navigating the Pacific in remarkable ocean-going canoes, they arrived around the 13th century. They brought with them deep knowledge of nature and survival. For centuries, they lived in harmony with the land and sea, building villages along coasts and rivers, fishing the surrounding oceans, and cultivating crops in fertile valleys. Their culture remains a defining force in modern New Zealand. Today, the world is more connected than ever before. Trade routes span oceans. Flights cross continents in hours. Digital networks link billions of people. Yet geography still matters. Because when global supply chains break, nations must rely on their own resources. One reason analysts consider New Zealand resilient is its ability to produce food. The islands support millions of sheep and cattle. Agricultural land stretches across both islands. The surrounding waters provide rich fisheries. And rainfall feeds rivers and lakes year-round. In a world facing crisis, self-sufficiency becomes survival. In the 1980s, New Zealand made a historic decision. It declared itself a nuclear-free zone. The policy banned nuclear weapons and nuclear-powered ships from entering its waters. This stance became part of the nation's identity, a symbol of peace and independence in global politics. While many nations expanded military power, New Zealand chose another path: diplomacy, cooperation, and environmental protection. Throughout history, wars have often spread through neighboring regions. Europe's conflicts engulfed entire continents. Asia's wars expanded across borders. But New Zealand sits far from these traditional battlegrounds. More than 10,000 miles from Europe, nearly 7,000 miles from North America, and thousands of miles from the world's largest military powers. In global conflict scenarios, strategic targets are usually concentrated around industrial centers, military bases, and major alliances. Remote nations may remain outside the immediate battlefield. Another key factor in long-term safety is sustainability. Could a country feed its population if global trade collapsed? Could it produce energy? Could it maintain stability? In many ways, New Zealand is uniquely prepared. Its rivers generate hydroelectric power. Wind farms harness the roaring winds of the Pacific. Geothermal energy rises from volcanic landscapes, and its farmland produces far more food than the population consumes. Safety is not only about geography, it is also about society. New Zealand consistently ranks among the most peaceful nations on Earth. Low corruption, strong institutions, stable democracy, and a population accustomed to cooperation and community. In times of crisis, these qualities can be just as important as military strength. If a global war were ever to erupt, no nation could remain completely untouched. Modern warfare reaches across oceans and skies. But some places may endure longer than others. Places where nature provides resources, where distance offers protection, where society remains stable even in uncertainty. At the far edge of the Pacific Ocean, beneath vast southern skies, lies a country shaped by isolation and resilience. A nation where mountains guard the horizon and the sea stretches endlessly beyond. Perhaps not perfect, perhaps not immune, but for many analysts and survival experts, one of the safest places humanity could hope for in an uncertain future. That place is New Zealand. When the storms of history pass, the future of humanity may depend on places like this: remote, resilient, and waiting quietly at the end of the world.